Before we begin that, how about a bit of light comedy, gentlemen?
Oh,
It's like
I'm ready for it.
I
I'm ready.
have. What can I say? Yeah, there was an actress recently who decided to give an interview for Variety and, share her thoughts about the world of action heroes and, where women have been represented in it and, how she was an absolute trailblazer because before her, there weren't any. So we should be terribly thankful for her. But, I won't steal her thunder. I'll put her words out there and let you make your own judgments. So just give me a second. I'll bring this one up.
Sweet.
Doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. We were told girls and boys can both identify with a male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead.
Oh, absolutely.
And it just makes me so happy every single time I see a movie.
I love how she says that
come
with a
out
straight
that
face.
just
Absolutely.
blows through every single one of those beliefs and proves that it is just a lie to keep certain people out of the movies, to keep certain people in the same positions that they've always been in.
I'm sorry, what?
She had the best reaction to that. What?
But seriously, when I saw this on my timeline, and I was like, "Oh, great! What's the thing getting out?" And I listened to it, I was like, "No, she's not seriously like, no. This has got to be a fucking bait. Like, how could you? Come on."
As well, like, of all the hills to die on, like, of all the examples to hold up of fantastic female action heroes, fucking Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games, like,
Dude, nobody really cares about Katniss anymore. Like, really?
No.
She's gonna have an enduring legacy. Like, certain other characters that I guess don't exist because.
I'll play devil's advocate. Is there a chance she was born like in a hole somewhere, like in the desert?
Or...
No, I think that's actually a good point because, like, most people, if you're doing something, you kind of experience other things around you. Like, I watch loads of YouTube videos because I think you can learn a lot from other people. And if you watch my stuff, you can definitely sort of pick out the influences or what I watch from what I do because you kind of imitate what you like. And I don't think she's watched other movies. Like, I genuinely think she just has no idea. Like, she doesn't experience anything. She probably doesn't watch her own stuff. She films them, gets paid, and moves on. And so, this is what she believes. It's.
Can we rule out that she's reincarnated and she had actually played all female actresses previously, and so thus her statement is technically correct?
I don't think we can definitively rule that out.
Yeah, she goes all the way back to Eve. She's just all of women, and so
I just think, because I parodied this in like one of the first videos I did on this channel, just like making fun of like Captain Marvel and like, oh, thank God we finally got a strong female action hero because we've never had this before, and like going through like the decades and decades of awesome female characters that we've had, and then it was a complete mockery. But then you get something like this where it's like, oh God, they're actually still clinging to that narrative, are they? Like, like before 2012, there wasn't a single decent female-led action movie.
Now, everybody who argues against this point always goes with like the ones that everybody knows, like Ellen Ripley from Alien. You have Linda Hamilton in Terminator. What about like Gina Davis, Long Kiss Goodnight, Cutthroat Island? Like
even Mila Jovovich from the Resident Evil movies, like
right. Fifth Element, that was an action film. Sci-fi action. There's plenty of examples beyond the really famous ones. Like Willow is one of those, and I know we're going to get to Willow, but I mean, Bavmorda was a bad bitch, right? Like that was an awesome lead. So was Sorsha.
Like,
I mean, there's plenty.
Well,
of
even
examples.
in the sword and sorcery genre, you had like Red Sonja by Bridget Nielsen. You had had Valeria from the original Conan movies. Like you had all kinds of characters like that.
You had Grace Jones, who was both female and black, and she was in Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah,
right?
She was mildly terrifying.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She'd always find a way to like get rid of this point though. Like anything you mentioned to it, well, they're not actually the lead, they're not the main character. Well, they're just a side character, but they're just in it a lot. Like,
I just-
the amount of clarifiers she added in
But
there.
it's so narcissistic to think that you're the first generation that pioneered anything, that you're the one who like you blazed the trail that everyone else is going to follow. It's like you did fuck all. Like you produced a trilogy of movies aimed at like 14-year-old girls. You know, it's all just YA novel garbage. Like nobody looks back on Katniss Everdeen and puts her up there with Ellen Ripley or Sarah Connor or Marion from Raiders. She's not in the same league, but it's like just that weird self-important, self-aggrandizing nonsense that you thought we were past that, and apparently we're not.
Feels like a complete backfire because, like, the first, I would want to tell her, I'd be like, you understand, you look like a clown. Like, everyone thinks you don't know about these very famous, very enjoyed, very culturally important movies. And she'd probably be like, I know about that. But like, yeah, but people think you don't now. Like,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, nice disrespect to so many great actresses over the years. Like,
I think there's an element as well of like, Jennifer Lawrence is like not really a thing anymore. Like.
not really.
4 or
no.
5 years ago when she did Passengers, I think that was the high watermark for her when she got like 20 million. And it's like, okay, that was when she seemed like a bankable star. And that flopped. She's been in like nothing but flops since then. And yeah, she's not really an A-lister anymore. And it's like, yeah, I'm just going to pretend that like I was this massive influential force in cinema when I really wasn't. I just lucked into a role that like happened to be inexplicably successful. But that was like true.
It's even more than that, though, because like coming from a position of, like, this is the only kind of belief system which allows people who are like live the heist life their entire life. These are people who have literally everything, but they can still be oppressed. And she's like, well, I was oppressed. Nobody else had done anything I had, but I'd still managed to overcome everyone else in the industry and lead the kind of path. And it's like, you were literally paid millions from your first role. Like,
Yeah.
point. Have you ever been excluded from anything? But you still think, no, I'm the one who's been hard done by my entire life. It's an astronomical way of
Does she
believing
yell at her vagina at night? You are holding me back.
Yeah. God damn it. It's funny, but like, yeah. I mean, pretty much all of us can just like put it aside and just dismiss it as the idiotic comments of someone who doesn't know any better. But yeah, 10 years ago I would have expected that from her. I thought she might have been a bit more savvy at this point, but apparently not.
Well, isn't it even more important? Like, as your popularity wanes, they tend to play even more towards the victim, because that way it's like, no, you have to employ me, otherwise you're a horrible person. So I think this is more of an attempt to get more roles than anything else, to try and stay relevant in some way, even if it's for the wrong reasons.
I mean, it could also be that, like, give it a few more years and she'll start playing the, well, I'm over, a certain age card, and you're not casting me anymore because there's no roles for mature women. It's like, yeah, Scarlett Johansson is probably going to end up playing that card as well when she hits 40. But yeah, I guess you use whatever's in your arsenal, I suppose, and that's what they've got, like guilt. But hello, Chris. I'm sorry we didn't like introduce you properly, but I'm glad you were able to make it in.
Thank you, Drinker. Mahler, good to see you.
Hey.
Disparu, love the new haircut. Magog.
Oh yeah. Cosplaying Willow.
No,
Yeah.
I love
Well,
it.
kids out of Willow.
But look, your expectations are so high for Hollywood actors. They're not the brightest bulbs in the bunch. I mean, there's a reason directors refer to actors as meat puppets, right? I mean, they're just, and especially when just the general populace has a knowledge of movies that goes back 5 years, 10 years at best. So it's sort of, that comment doesn't surprise me, but what I love is all the Twitter corrections and just this conversation here. So,
Yeah.
opportunity to talk about, so many great, it's awesome.
I've met people who are in like drama class in school. If that's their mentality, just they're rich now, then yeah, celebrities are fucking morons.
True. No, I've met them. There's very few I've met that have impressed me, that actually have a knowledge of the craft or know film. So
Yeah, of course I'm speaking in like the modern times. I'm sure there's been plenty of actors who are also brilliant at other things. Like what was it? Dolph Lundgren has like he's like a chemical
he's got
engineer
a
or something.
PhD in chemical engineering. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm generalizing, and I shouldn't, but you kind of get my point. There's a certain kind of mindset it takes to be like on stage and be an actor, but at the same time, it doesn't call for a lot of, I don't know, like philosophical thinking.
I think different actors have different level of commitment. Like if Daniel Day-Lewis was going to play a lawyer, I think he would actually go and pass his bar exam just to like play the role.
I know, right? Daniel Day-Lewis is what do they call it? Method acting. I mean, didn't he spend an entire year as Abraham Lincoln before he even done the film? Like an entire year, walking around with that hat on, growing his beard out, talking like Abraham Lincoln. That's how committed to a role he is, and that's why all his movies end up amazing.
Yeah. But then he does like one every 10 years or something, and that's pretty much
Right.
him.